Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd, as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to do the Mad Willy hat. Now we've done a crochet top hat before that was more sophisticated and for adults for Halloween, and this here is another top hat version. I believe it's by the same designer as well. So this one's been sized in 3 different sizes, all the way from children to adult size. So what you can do is that take a measurement of your forehead and then look at the finished circumference size here on the pattern. So when you go here, it's 18, 19, or 21, and then you can see how that will work out. So myself, I'm actually about a 21.5, so I'm pretty close to that. So in order to get this hat to stand up just like you see, it's 2 strands of yarn being used at the same time with a 6.5 millimeter size K crochet hook. And then you also need some hair for and the banding if you would like to add that as well. So I really like these particular concepts. You can add anything to a top hat. It's like a blank slate. You can spider webs, anything that you'd like to do. And what we need to watch out for in this particular pattern is that round number 13 in this section right here. I put a notice to look because we are fastening off, and I'm not sure why we're doing that at that moment, but we will find out as we get there. And also the parentheses have then the different sizes. So the small is the first size. So when you look at the parentheses, so the small is the first size, the next one is the medium, and then the next size is the large. So that's something that you have to watch out for, and it's really not until near to the end, close to the brim, is that when you can size it in order to fit. We then have the brim, which will then be folding up naturally, and then we'll have the hat band, which is just basically a strip of crochet that is causing that, and then I'll show you how to do the hair if we're lucky. So let's without further ado, let's just get right into this thing, and we're gonna be checking it off as a list as we go, and let's begin. 6.5 millimeter size K crochet hook, 2 strands working together. If you want if you want a solid color, you'll need 2 different balls in order to work. You can work from the outside and the from one ball and then the inside of the same ball, but it's gonna get tangled, so just grab 2 balls and you'll be good. Let's begin. So let's begin, and we're gonna do the beginning chain. Now put 2 strands together, pretend that they're one, and you'll notice that this hat's gonna be quite stiff to work with because it's gonna have that property of wanting to stand on its own. So if you're thinking it's stiff and it's kind of harder for you, it's not you, it's the concept. So we are going to then begin, and we're gonna chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then in the first stitch right here we're going to insert. And make sure you insert through both of the plies that you have, and then pull through and form the center ring of your top hat. So we're working from the top of the hat going down. Let's begin round number 1. So I have a spare piece of yarn coming up and behind here. I will show you what I'm gonna do with that. This is worked as a continuous round, and so we're not gonna be worrying about any slip stitches, so that you won't see any awful seam lines on your hat. So we're gonna chain up 1 the first time, and we're going to put 6 single crochets inside the ring. So let's count those out. So we're gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And now on the 6th one here, I want you to put that stitch marker in underneath the last stitch that we just left. And so that's gonna mark when we go around. So when we start the next round, we're not gonna be doing a chaining up 1, or we're not gonna doing any slip stitching to join. We're just gonna continue to go in a revolution. So that was round number 1. Let's begin round number 2. To speed up this tutorial, I'm going to give you a set of instructions, and then I'm gonna tell you to do the rest of the round, and then you can meet me back up. So when I do that, I'm gonna meet you at the end of the stitch marker where it's been marked, and I'm gonna rely on you to move that up. So in round number 2, starting in the very first one, if you're not sure, just count it back. It's the 6th one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no slip stitching. You're just gonna immediately start, and in the first one you're going to apply 2 single crochets into that one, and then 2 into each, going all the way to the stitch marker. So I'm just getting started with some fresh yarn, so it's kind of stiff coming out of the ball because it's new. So 2 single crochets in each stitch all the way to the stitch marker. Move your stitch marker then up to the last stitch, and then we'll start round number 3 in just a moment. So round number 3, so I have my stitch marker moved up, you see. So let's round number 3, it's going to be a single crochet in the next one. So that's by itself, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch after that. That's your repeat pattern for the entire round. So just to recap, the next one is 1 by itself, and then the next one has 2 single crochets in there. Please do that all the way around. This is round number 3. Round number 4 is that the next 2 are going to be by itself, so 1 and 2, and then the one after that is going to have 2 into the same one. So 1 and 2. So to recap, the next 2 in a row are by itself, and then the next one has 2 into the same one. Please do that all the way around. This is round number 4. Round number 5, we're going to change the equation a little bit. We're changing where the growth is so that we don't end up with obvious growth lines in your project. So in round number 5, we're going to start, we're going to put 2 single crochets in the very first one, so 1 and 2, and then the next 3 are going to be by itself. So we just changed where that growth is, so 1, 2 and 3. So to recap, 2 into the next, and then 3 by itself. Please do that all the way around for round number 5. Let's begin round number 6. We're going to change the equation. I'm going to do this in a way that will make sense for you. And it's the way that we get started is that it's going to change where the growth is. So let's just get started first, and then we'll go through what your repeat is. So we're going to single crochet in the first 2. So 1 and 2. And then the next one is going to have 2 into the same one. So this changes the location where the growth is. Now here's what we're going to do for the remaining of the round. You're gonna single crochet in the next 4. So let's do that. So 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then 2 into the next one, and then you will repeat that going around. So it'll be 4 and then 2, 4 and 2. You will be left with stitches after the last repeat here. You're gonna fill those in with single crochets, and I will meet you there. So the repeat is going to end just a couple stitches, I believe, maybe 3 stitches before the end, and then you'll fill the last in with just single crochets. But I'll see you there in just a moment. This is round number 6. So just before the edge, so I've got 2 in here, and then I got 2 left. And I'm filling those in. That was the end of round number 6. So just change the location where the growth is. So let's move on to round number 7 next. Number 7, we're going to just put the first 5 in a row, and then 2, and then 5 and 2. Please do round number 7. Round number 8, here we go. We are just going to put in, we're gonna change the growth again. So the growth is then 2 into the first one here, and then we have 6 in a row that are by itself, and then 2, and then 6, and then 2, and etc. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 8. So moving on to round number 9, just do a double count. Just want to make sure if your stitches are not equaling where you should be, maybe you're missing or adding or missing or too many stitches, just do a double count. It turns out I missed a stitch. I don't know how that's possible, but I did. So anyway, I just filled it in and I put an extra one in somewhere here. I'm not telling you where, because it doesn't really matter, because it'll work out anyway. And you know, when you're experiencing crochet, you can get away with stuff like that. So we're gonna change where the growth is for round number 9. Single crochet in the first 3. Okay, and then this is where the repeat's going to start that we have. So we're going to then put in 2 into, sorry, this is the end of the repeat, so it's 2 into the next one. So here what we're going to do is that we're gonna do 7 and then 2, 7 and then 2. You will have 4 stitches left over from this repeat by the time you get all the way back around, and you're gonna fill those 4 stitches in with just single crochets in order to get back to where you need to go. So at this point you just do 7 and 2, 7 and 2, and then fill in the final 4. I'll see you at the end of round number 9. Okay, I'm all the way back around. Let's move on to round number 10. We're gonna start off and we're going to put 8 in a row. So 8 and then 2, 8 and 2, go all the way around. This is round number 10. Okay, let's begin round number 11. There's going to be 2 into the next one, and then there's going to be 9 on its own. So 2 and then 9, and please do that all the way around. This is round number 11. Let's move on to round number 12. A single crochet. We're changing the growth again, so change our single crochet the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and then 2 single crochets in the next. And here's the start of the official repeat. So you're gonna do 10 in a row and 2, 10 in a row and 2, and then once you get that final repeat you'll have some stitches left over here at the end, and then you'll just fill those in. So the last 5 stitches will be on their own and you'll fill that into the stitch marker. So please do this. It's 10 and 2 from this point. Let's move along to round number 13. We're gonna be fastening off at the end of this round. So we're just going to put 11 single crochets in a row and then 2, 11 and 2. Please do that all the way around for round number 13 and we'll fasten off at the end of that. So I'll meet you at the end of this round. So 11 and 2. Okay, I've come all the way to the end of number 13 with my 11 and 2s. I am going to fasten off. So we're currently looking at the right side of the project. Most crocheters can identify which is the right and the wrong side. So I'm just going to pull this loop through and I'm going to get ready. So I want to turn it to the wrong side. Okay, and we're gonna be fastening off at the end of this next round. So this is round number 14. So grabbing the 2 strands again. There's a reason why we're doing this. I don't know what it is yet, but I will probably be able to tell in just a few moments. So I'm just going to start some new yarn. I think it has something to do with the bend at the top of the hat. So it says with the wrong side facing, join A with the last stitch of round number 13, which is here, and then so join it the last stitch. So I'm going to do a standing single crochet. So just pulling through the loop and pull through, and I'm going to single crochet 1 into each stitch going all the way back in the other direction. Okay, and then we'll meet you back up here in a moment and then we'll pick up and we will fasten off and then we'll redo this again to get started. So I'm at the end of number 14 and I am in the last stitch. What I would do though is that I would slip stitch to the beginning of that round to kind of pull it back into the same line like that. That's what I would do for sure. Make sure that when we do to the count though on the next round we want to make sure that we're getting it right. So we're gonna fasten off again. I almost wonder why you can't just turn it and just be able to work on it like that. Who knows? So we're going to turn and we're gonna start then 15 and we're gonna stay on the right side again for however long until it tells us otherwise. So I don't know if it does tell us to go back on the wrong side at all at any point in the future, but we're gonna start with some fresh yarn again and we're gonna start on the right side on the last stitch that we were just in, and we're gonna make sure that when we do this we're gonna go right up over top of that. So there's a slip stitch in there, so make sure that you just kind of compress it. You could actually just change where the stitch the line is too. So I'm just gonna start a couple stitches back and say this is where I'm going to start. So I'm going to pull a stitch marker in there and say this is my beginning, or sorry, this is the end of the stitch. So I'm just going to start up with a standing single. Okay, so pull through and I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in each of the stitches now going all the way around, and then this one here I'm just jumping down and it should balance out. It should actually be pretty good. I'm experienced enough to know that that will probably be getting hidden, and it is. So what I want you to do is that I want you to do this round. It's 1 single crochet all the way around to the stitch marker, and then rounds number 16 and 17 do the same thing. It's just 1 single crochet around to the stitch marker. So I'm gonna pick you up on round number 18. So do this round. This is number 15. 16 and 17 are also single crochets, and I'll see you on round number 18 in just a moment. Okay, I've just finished rounds number 16 and 17. You can see I just kind of pushed it down through the top here, so it is starting to turn around to the top of the hat here. So if you actually put it over your head you realize how much bigger it is. So it is like a top hat for sure. So what we're going to do then in round number 18 we're going to do a reduction. So we're going to start reducing stitches so it'll get faster for you, and then we'll just continue from there. So let's do round number 18 next. So round number 18 we're going to just start, and the first 11 will be on their own. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And now the next 2 will be together. So I'll show you how to do it, and then I'll just tell you this in the future. So this is what it means. So you're gonna go into the next one, pull through, and then the one after that go in, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Okay, so just remember they're in pairs. So you're just gonna pull through that, and that's a together. So it's a single crochet together. So it's 11 and 2. Your very last stitch that you're coming in here should be 2 together. If it's not, just try to work it out so that you get the right stitch count, just in case you're off at any point. So there's always ways to correct things. And so please do 11 and then 2 together, 11 and 2 together, and see me at the end of round number 18. So the last 2 here are 2 together. And it turns out my stitch counts are right, so it's good. I would have faked it anyway. Okay, because I would have. I know myself. So I don't like the frog if I don't have to. So now rounds number 19, 20, 21 are just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. So please do 19, 20 and 21 now. Just 1 single in each, and that'll give this reduction a little bit of time to reduce in, and then we'll reduce again after that. So 19, 20, 21 next. Okay, so I just now finished up to number 21. So I'm gonna give you rounds number 22 and 23 for instruction. So rounds number 22 here, what we're gonna do is a reduction. So we're gonna do 10 in a row and then 2 together, 10 in a row, 2 together all the way around. And then in round number 23 I want you to just do 1 single crochet all the way around, and then I'll meet you at the end of that. So remember, right now 22 is 10 and then 2, 10, 2 together, 10 and 2 together, and then round number 23 is 1 single crochet in each, and I'll see you at the end of that round. So we'll meet on 24 next. So I'm now here on round number 24 starting. So I'm gonna give you the instructions for 24 and 25 now. So 24 we're gonna do a reduction. So we're gonna do 9 and then 2 together, 9 and 2 together, and then round number 25 it's 1 single crochet in each. So please do rounds number 24 of 9 and then 2 together, and then round number 25 1 single crochet in each, and I'll see you at the end of round number 25 in just a moment. Okay, so we're now moving on to number 26 and 27 before we then divide off into all the different sizes. So number 26 we're going to do 8 in a row and 2 together, 8 in a row and 2 together, and then round number 27 is just 1 single crochet in each. I think you're getting it at this point. So I'll see you at the end of round number 27. 28 we're going to be dividing off to the different sizes, and we'll see you there in just a moment. So as we begin to do round number 28 we're going to be dividing off in depending on the size. So we have the small, medium and large size. So for the large size it's not going to be much of a reduction, and if I look at it it's pretty close to the head size as well for me. So I want you to choose the one that is matching the size that you're doing. So you're gonna do single crochet in the next either 4, 7 or 25, and then 2 together in the next over the next 2, and you will repeat that either 9, 6 or 2 times depending on what that is. So please choose the one now for number 28, and then after this at number 29 you're going to then 29 either to 33 for the small, 29, 35 for the medium, and 29 to 35 then for the large size is what you're just gonna do is 1 single crochet in each. So I'm gonna leave this for you. So 1 single crochet, choose the size that you're gonna do, then do 2 together and do rounds number 29 either to 33 or 35, and then we're gonna fasten off. We're then going to start the brim, and when you do the brim we're then going to be dividing off on all the different sizes, and so you're gonna have to be paying attention to this, and I would have this sheet available for you as well. Like I would get it in just so that you have it so that you can follow along. Let's begin number 28, do the final reduction of the main body of the hat, and then finish off all the single crochet rounds after that. Okay, so now I just finished up to round number 35 for my size here. It's actually pretty cool. So you want to dip in the top of the hat when you're gonna wear it. It looks awesome. And now that this final round, so you may have up to 33 depending on the size that you're doing. So I want you to fasten this off now. So just cut along the strands along, and I would slip stitch into the next one just to kind of equalize it out, and then just pull through. And we're going to then start on the brim next, and the brim has all the different sizes that we're gonna be playing with today. So I want you to be able to print that or have that handy for you, because you're gonna need it because they're each different. So it looks pretty good so far, and we're gonna move on in this tutorial and start the brim right now. So let's move along to the brim, and I'm gonna put some responsibility on you. It's really hard to get negative comments on YouTube when I don't do the actual size that you are doing at home. So because there are 3 different sizes here, I'm going to continue because this is, I'm making this for me, so I'm making this as an adult version. Remember that the first number is the small, the second number is the medium, and the third number is large. So what I would recommend to you is that print this pattern, go to yarnspirations.com, there's a link in the more information, and highlight the ones that matter to you. So I'm just going through and I'm highlighting everything that I want to focus on. And what this is going to do is that it's going to show me each and every time that I don't screw it up, because I've done this before and I haven't highlighted and I end up screwing it up by choosing the wrong one. So when I move forward, I'm going to be teaching this from the adult size, and I'm going to rely on you to pick the number in the pattern that matches the size that you are going to do. So it'll be very hard for me to say, well, do this and this and this for each one of these 10 rows. I'm going to teach this from the adult one, and if you're doing the other size, just look at this document and just be able to pull the other number that you're going to need. So hopefully that's okay from this point, and you know what, it's a little bit of a learning lesson on how to read the pattern as well. So just go through and highlight the ones that you are going to focus on, and then we're going to continue our journey from this point. So let's start working on the brim, and I want to start some new yarn. So when we so I've been working on it from, and you're seeing the right side here. So now we want to do looking at the wrong side to start the brim. So in this case I'm going to start the brim so that I'm here. Okay, so then when I start I'm going to be doing this. So the right side will be underneath. So because it lifts up the brim, you will see the good side of the project. First thing that I would like you to do is this stitch marker, just place it a few stitches back from where you've left off and make that your ending point. And what that will do is that it'll allow you to travel over top of this other piece here nice and seamlessly. So what I want you to do is just go to the next stitch right beside and attach, and you can do a standing single crochet if you wish. And I just need you to go all the way around the brim just with one single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. Okay, so the one that you're doing, you're about to jump over now. Okay, so I'm going over. Stitch marker's kind of getting in my way there for a second, and this is where I left off, so just jump right over top. You might want to just bury in your loose yarn too and get that stuck in, and you're gonna still go in a continuous revolution, and this will allow you to jump over that seam and kind of have a better hidden appearance. So this is round number 1 of the brim. Please do this, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. Let's begin round number 2. Remember, I am doing the adult size, so refer to the instructions if you're doing the other 2 sizes. So we're going to single crochet. We're gonna start right where we had picked up here, and we're going to single crochet the first 7 in a row and then do 2 into the next. So 7 and then 2, and then once you're getting all the way around, the last few stitches to the stitch marker are just single crochet. So remember, 7 single crochets and then 2 single crochets into the next. So we're gonna be expanding to make the band bigger so that it will flare out to make that. So remember, it's 7, and I'll see you back here in just a moment. So just all the way back around, so there was 4 stitches in a row after the last 2 is into the same one in the size that I'm working on. So for all rounds number 3, it's just 1 single crochet in each. This gives it a chance to expand, and then we will then see you on round number 4 in just a moment. Let's move along to round number 4. Again, all sizes are going in their own directions. So for my size, we're gonna do 2 single crochets into, so all of them actually is 2 single crochets in the first one, so let's do that. And then for the size that I'm working on is that it's going to be a total of 8 single crochets and then 2 into the next, and then 8 and single crochets and 2 in the next. In my size you'll have a few left over near the end, so just fill those in with single crochet, and I'll see you at the end of round number 4. Let's move along to round number 5. I just kind of folded up the brim. It's easier to grab, and now I can fold it because I've got more to it. So for 5, for all of them, it's just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches going all the way around. Please do this. This is number 5. Let's move along now to round number 6. So we each are going to go in our own direction. So we're going to start off first, and we're gonna do 1 single crochet in my size to the first 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then 2 into the next. So do that all the way around. You'll have a few extra left over. Just fill those in with single crochet to get yourself back to the stitch marker. This is round number 6. Round number 7, here we go. All sizes are just 1 single crochet in each of the stitches, going all the way around round number 7. Okay, let's begin round number 8. It's actually quite unique for all of us. So we're going to all start and we're going to put in single crochet in the first 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're gonna do 2 into the next. So then we're going to then do the next 4 and then 2 into the next, do 4 and then 2 into the next. For this size here that we're working on, if you look at it, it says do that 12 times and then it says single crochet in the last 10 single crochets in order to do that. Okay, so the other sizes it has in the last 3 or 6. In this case it'll be 10. So make sure the last 10 stitches are on their own as you hit back to the stitch marker. So remember at this point it's 4 and 2 and 4 and 2. When you see the last 10, just fill those in with single crochets for round number 8 for this size. Okay, let's begin round number 9. Same for all of us. It's 1 single crochet in each. Because we did a lot of expanding in the last round, you'll see this really nicely open up. Round number 9, 1 single crochet in each, and I'll see you at the end of the round. And finally round number 10. So what we're going to do is all of us is 2 single crochets in the next single crochet and then 5 in a row. So then 2 into the next and then 5 in a row, and you're gonna do that 12 times and then you're going to end up with the last 10 being single crochets. So just do it like you did before. In my particular size you could have 3 or 6, but in my case it'll be 10. So just continue to go around now. So remember what I just said. So it's gonna be 2 into the next and then 5 and then 2 and then 5, and do that all the way around and leaving the final few stitches just as single crochet, and then I'll show you how to fasten off. So now we've come to the end of the line. So this is where we're going to fasten off. So you can shape this better once it's done. So I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch after the stitch marker, and this is where I'm gonna end my story. I'm gonna trim this long enough so I can deal with each one of these tails. I would deal with these tails separately, so don't put them through the same needle because you might not get it through the same needle anyway. But I think you can do a lot better job hiding them individually than you can as putting them through as together. So what I want you to do is just throw this through a tapestry needle and then just lightly glide it up underneath the stitch work. And if you go back and forth a total of 3 times and do this for both of the strands or any strands that you have that's hanging out, you can literally hide these in really carefully. So just kind of pulling it, but don't change the shape, and then go back in the other direction. So this is the second time, and then finally a slightly different path in the third direction once again. And I would do that with both of your strands individually, and then we're gonna start the band work in just a moment. So let me just finish this up and I'll be right back. So we're now going to move on to do the band. So if you'd like to have a band to this, that's what we're gonna do. Now it says to measure to a certain amount of inches in order to do it. What I would do if it were me and I were you, I would use the hat as your measuring gauge. So as soon as that it gets around, now you want it to have a little bit of stretch, but nothing too severe. But if it's too loose, then it will just flop around. You can also tack it in with just applying the same color yarn of the band just right directly through, and then it will hold itself down to the hat as well. So let's review on how to do the band. So to do the band, what I want to do is that I want to chain a 9. So you'll use a 5mm size H crochet hook. I'm just using a 5.5 because mine's upstairs, but you know what it is. So I'm going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm gonna go second chain from the hook, and I'm just gonna single crochet on the back of the chain all the way back. So this band is made up of single crochet rows and double crochet rows. So the double crochet will be able to speed you through doing the amount of inches that you're going to need. So that's a nice idea. I was worried that it was gonna be like really forever with the single crochets, but the designer's thinking about our time, which I can appreciate a lot. So coming right all the way to the back. Good. So you're gonna turn your work. So every other row is going to be double crochet. So you are gonna chain 2, and that is not going to count as a stitch in this particular example, but then starting in the very first one, like right directly down, you're gonna double crochet yourself across. So the chain 2 at the beginning of a double crochet does not count as anything. It makes the band more solid on the one side. So you're gonna go right to the edge, right to the end of the row, and then you're gonna turn your work. So the last one. So you're gonna turn your work and then begin. So the next row is going to be, if that was double, the next one's single. So chaining up 1 and single crochet in each of the cross. And then when you get to the other side, you are going to chain 2 and then double crochet just like I just showed you across. So you're gonna single and then double, single, double. So you're gonna get to the amount of inches that you want. So it's either 18, 19 or 21 it states, but I would use the hat as that. Remember that the first chain 2 of a double crochet is not a stitch, so don't include that. That's just there. Okay, it makes it more full at the end. So then chaining up 2 and double crochet. So use your hat as a measuring guide. Whoops, it's double crochet. And use your hat as a measuring guide, and then just meet me back here, and then we're gonna sew this onto the hat. You can sew it around. I would tack it onto the hat so it's gonna not move while you're wearing it. So that's awesome. I will see you back here in just a moment once you get all your inches done. Okay, so I've just finished my band. I know that I can get around it. I am going to force it to have a little bit of stretch so that it will hold itself. So when I fasten this off, I'm going to leave an extra long tail so I can whip stitch this together. What I would do though is that I would fasten this off here, and what I would do then is that once I have this attached, I'm going to try it on and get the right level, and then the last few inches of this tail I'm just gonna put it through the project and back out so that it will hold it so it permanently will not come off this hat. I've seen people do hats like this and they don't do that, and then the bands end up moving around and looking pretty sloppy. So we're gonna just go through the one side, the one stitch, and then we're just gonna match it to the other side and the other stitch like this, and then go directly across. Now you should have the same amount of stitches, so when you match and match they should line up perfectly. And you're gonna go all the way down the band like that, and then I'm going to adjust, and then I'm gonna throw this ending of the tail through to the inside of the hat so it'll hold, and I will be back in just a moment. So go all the way down your band. So once I'm satisfied where this band is sitting, the end strand, I'm just gonna take it through the project right inside to the interior of the hat, and I'm gonna come in and then just back out one time, and that'll hold that from being able to move. Now if you wanna pin it up there, you can too. You can just make it travel on the inside, and then you can just go up. I might actually do that. So I'm gonna just go up on the inside of this band, and then I'm not gonna go right to the top, but I'm just gonna go right in, just poke it through and then back out. And then just in a different area coming back out. And then, there you go. So now the band is actually stuck in position. So to get this to go completely so you don't see any of this, so you want to take your tail in like I did before. So you're just gonna come through and just weave it in and out of your work a total of 3 times, just in 3 different paths, and do that. And then also do that with the center, or sorry, with the beginning strand. Hide that in, and then we'll cover the hair in just a moment. Okay, so we're ready to move on to the hair, and what I would do if I were you and you were me, I would actually try this hat on and see where the sides are going to be. Nothing is kind of more discouraging is that you decide to put on the hair and then you put it on and you realize the hair is either in your way or it's not enough. So what I would do is put it on my head and then mark exactly on the inside where you would like to start. So it does have the instructions here. So it says, let me look at the instructions. It says either do each side, placing the hat on each side 26, 28 or 30 from the center of the back. So you want to just label where you want the center to be, and then you're just going to go and you're just going to fill it in on the inside. So what I was thinking, to my point of view, is that this pattern is actually old, but new yarn has simply come out. And see, this is kind of fun. This is the boucle, and it'd be kind of just really quite novelty. There is an orange that's available as well if you want to really do the Wonka idea. And you may want to determine, just do one strand and determine how really long that you would like to go. So what it's suggesting is that you're gonna cut 12-inch lengths, and then you're gonna hold the lengths together, and then you're going to be able to do that. So the more lengths that you put together, the more that you'll have hair, obviously. So for example, if say you would like to do something like this, I'm just gonna guess what 12 is, so I'm just gonna say this is 12. I'm using in tassels, usually 3 lengths working together is pretty good, and so then you can just determine that. So then you're going to just cut it, right, and then you're gonna fold it in half like that. So you want to get, so let's just say this was the back here, so you're gonna want to mark it so you get it. So you're just gonna slide your hook into some stitch work. Try not going into all the way through the project, just grab some strands that are on this side. I'm using a smaller hook so I can get it there. I should not see this hook coming through, and what I want to do is just grab this strand here and pull through, and I want to pull through enough that I can see a loop, and then just feed it on through. So where you're going to do that on the inside of this hat is going to matter, right? So you're gonna want to do it so that maybe it's even in a little further, but when you're wearing it, this will just hang out as hair. And so you can just simply just follow this around that you would like to go. So if you're using this type of yarn, it does suggest to split the plies. So you can decide to do that with a comb or a brush, and you can just split that this way. You could leave it as is. If you add more strands, then you'll have thicker hair. That's again up to you and what you would like to do. So it's actually not a hard idea to be able to follow, and this is kind of cool. For myself, I really like this hat, but I don't necessarily want the hair on my hat, so I'm just going to take off my hair on the hat and leave it off because I like the hat just the way it is. And so therefore I have it for any occasion that I would like. So if you did a hats in different colors, then you could just, you know, you could have a New Year's hat if it was black, you know, maybe with the white band and everything. So one thing I did, I was just showing Daniel my hat, and one thing that I did is that he says it kind of needs a buckle. So I could actually just crochet something black coming down the sides here, maybe a piece in the middle, and just black around, make it look like a buckle. Could be very leprechaunish as well, and that's just something that you can decide for yourself. So this is how you would do the hair. Not a hard idea, and this is the Mad Willy hat, and I think it's kind of fun, and now I have something for my studio to be able to display. Have a good one, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.